and augmented knowledge. So for your company, the AI assistant is given details about your company's documents that are real, up-to-date, and private dataset. All of this can occur without needing to fine-tune the AI model and modify the large language model. The final step of RAG is generation. This step is where AI assistant generates the response given the semantic relevant data retrieved from the vector database. And we have an upcoming video on vector database soon, so make sure to subscribe to be notified when the video is out. So the initial prompt that says, "Can you tell me about last year's service agreement with CodeCloud?" The AI assistant will now demonstrate its understanding of your company's knowledge base by using the documents that relate to service agreements in CodeCloud. And since the initial prompt specifies the criteria of last year, the generation step will use its own reasoning to wrestle with the data that was provided to get the best answer for the question. Now, RAG is a very powerful system that can instantly improve the depth of knowledge beyond its training data. But just like any other system, learning how to calibrate is an acquired skill that needs to be learned to get better result. For example, knowing how to chunk your data before storing them into the vector database is a critical decision that will determine the efficacy of RAG. In order to set up a RAG system, you have to employ different strategies like chunking strategy, where you determine the size and overlap of each chunk, embedding strategy to decide which embedding model to use and to convert your documents into vector embeddings, and retrieval strategy, where you control the threshold of how similar the words need to be, as well as additional filters that you might want to add in the dataset. Setting up a RAG system will look different from one system to another because it heavily depends on the dataset that you're trying to store. For example, legal documents will require a different chunking strategy than, say, customer support transcript document. This is because legal documents often have long structured paragraph that needs to be preserved, while conversational transcript can be just fine with sentence level chunking with high overlap to preserve context. Now that we covered the conceptual elements of RAG, let's look at how it looks like on a practical level. To better understand this, we can look over at this lab specifically geared towards how to use RAG. When I open the lab, I'm dropped right into a real-world mission. 500 gigabytes of company docs need to be turned into instant, accurate answers through a RAG system. Access the labs using the link in the description below and follow along with me. In the first question, we're asked to set up a development environment. I created a Python virtual environment, activated, install UV, and then pull in ChromaDB, sentence transformers, OpenAI, and Flask. A tiny marker that says ready confirms that I'm set. The tests check VEMD exist. UV is available. All 4 packages are installed, nice and clean. In the next question, we're asked to review TechCorp's document vault. I skimmed the simulated repo of Markdown docs, employee handbook, product specs, meeting notes, and frequently asked questions. The key